to the fullest. Now it is time to hit a different note on your induction program. Her acquaintances describe her as a perfectionist with attention to detail. She is known for her problem-solving attitude and quick analytical thinking. She is an expert in algorithm design, computational programming, and machine learning. Speaking of, none other than Dr. Monalisa Pal, Senior Engineer at MathWorks India Private Limited. Dr. Pal works in the education team at MathWorks and is based out of Kolkata. She primarily interacts with faculties, researchers, and students like you from across different domains to accelerate STEM education in India. She received her BTech degree from WBUT and ME degree from Jadavpur University, both in electronics and communication engineering. Later, she pursued her PhD in computer science from Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata. She has contributed to machine learning in healthcare during her ME and evolutionary optimization during her PhD research. She was also engaged in energy management research for smart buildings during a brief stint in France. She has published extensively on internationally reputed journals and conferences on biomedical engineering, computational intelligence, and image analysis. May we please have the AV now? Let's see a short AV now. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together loudly to welcome her on the stage. To do the honor of felicitation, I would like to call on stage Dr. Shubhaman Banerjee, Principal, Narula Institute of Technology. She is being felicitated with the traditional Uttariyu, sapling, and a token of love and honor from us. A round of applause, please, once again, so as we celebrate this wonderful moment together. We will now be hearing some engaging words from her, so be patient and definitely listen to everything she has got to say. Please come, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. I did not hear that. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, this time with more smile and more energy. Good afternoon, everyone. That's more like it. Alright, so I think as an industry personnel, most of your question to me is how do you become industry ready? In this 4 years of journey, what does that industry looks from you, right? So in that context, let me break it down into 5 things. Take any problem from today. You would be interested in exploring the buzzwords, AI, blockchain, IoT, so on and so forth. Unfortunately, learning AI is not going to grant you a 30 lakh package of job. And that's not the goal also. So what is the goal? So first thing is you have to anticipate whatever NIT, Narula Institute of Technology is empowering you as leaders of tomorrow, they are equipping you with weapons, with technologies. With technology that would be utilized to solve engineering challenges of tomorrow. Any engineering challenge, if you look at, is interdisciplinary in nature. It's multidisciplinary in nature. Even National Education Policy 2020 talks about multidisciplinary education, right? Take any example, wind farm, wind turbines. What do you think wind turbines requires from an engineer? What type of engineer would construct a wind farm? Maybe a mechanical engineer who would design the shape of blades. Maybe a electronics engineer who would look at the circuitry. Maybe a computer engineer who would look at fault detection and apply AI algorithms. Maybe a chemical engineer who would look at what type of energy is generated from the wind farm and how it can be stored better. Maybe a civil engineer who would look at in which particular area they would assess to install those wind farms. There's so much of applications. So the first thing is to make your curriculum, make yourself interdisciplinary. The second thing is collaboration. Collaboration is the key. I am one of you. I had graduated or did my bachelor's from Kolkata, from an institute which is also affiliated with Macaut. Back then it was known as West Bengal University of Technology. But collaboratively I engaged with multiple other disciplines. I did my master's project on biomedical engineering. My PhD project's application was on energy management. All of those taking very simple foundational signal processing concepts but applying it into various domains. Again, application of technology to solve engineering challenges. Look at the engineering challenges that nation currently has. Take technology like AI, like IoT, solve applications or solve engineering challenges that are relevant to the nation. But how does collaboration play a role here? You see your seniors volunteering for this type of activities. They are developing professional skills like leadership, like program management. Similarly, collaboration in terms of projects beyond your curriculum, projects somewhere many Kaggle-like platform would host, projects which Smart India Hackathon would host. Take up those challenges, take up those projects, but think of collaboration with friends from other colleges, friends from different parts of the nation, and understand the diversity of academic culture that is across the nation. How can you instill those skills amongst yourself? Don't be limited to this particular region in terms of upskilling yourself. The third thing that we can talk about is what type of digitalization we are looking at. Even during the pandemic, you had seen that academia also completely transform into online platforms. Payments are transforming into digital platforms. It is the era of digitalization. So how can education transform? Do you bring laptops to your classroom and take notes there? Do you right away implement whatever topics you are taught in class and in your computational thinking ideas? Do you implement those on computational platform? But again, going back to the second step, collaboration, let's think of your mobile phones where 5G is installed. 5G is nothing but AI plus wireless communication. Maybe a communication engineer who works with lot of instruments, signal processing and applications, they would prefer a LabVIEW, a computational platform which is known as LabVIEW. Similarly, an AI engineer might prefer a particular platform for their implementation like Python. But does that mean the project ends there? No, this type of projects are there upcoming in industry, which means as a student, you are given the opportunity, you are given the responsibility to explore the marriage between these different platforms that are there. Different tools, how can they interoperate with each other? Again, tying back to the interdisciplinary nature of curriculum. So, three things I covered. Curriculum, being interdisciplinary in nature. The second thing I mentioned was collaboration with multiple other colleagues or peers of your. Third thing I covered was digitalization of education. The fourth and fifth are slightly different, and that is something an academic institution might not be able to offer you until and unless you are willing to embrace it. What is the fifth or fourth thing here? The fourth thing that you can think of is communication. Today, let's say if I am talking to a child and I ask them, hey, can you tell me what's your name? Very often than not, this kid, this 3-year, 4-year kid gets shied away. They don't tell their name. They hide behind curtains. They hide behind their parents. But the external world here, once you graduate from here, your college is not going to be able to help you. Your parents are not going to be able to help you when you are out there in your job field. So communication is the key. How many of you are open to communicate your feelings? How many of you are willing to communicate your feelings? Can you communicate your feelings? And communication does not mean going to an YouTube and like saying, like this message if you are from Narula. It's more beyond that. Communication is how many of you know whoever is sitting next to you in this auditorium today, what is their background? What is their school? Where have they graduated from? How many of you know what is the stream of the student sitting next to you? Today, if you go back and having dinner with your friends, with your family, maybe you are in a mess having dinner with your friends, or you are going back to your home, commuting from your home and having dinner with your family. Can you look up from your mobile screen? Discuss with your family members, people you are having dinner with, what has been their great for today? What has been there that you want to celebrate out of today's thing? So this is communication, that barrier you have to break. Like I was introduced, I interact with students on a daily basis. I get emails like find this attachment with no subject line. Those are very poor form of communication. And industry is going to assess you based on these skills. So develop communication as the fourth thing. And the fifth thing is slightly, I would say, non-conventional. Always have an exit strategy. That is very important. In these days, in this era, when you have, spent 2 years in lockdown, when you have come across successfully beyond pandemic, in the post-pandemic, how much of you have, able to communicate with each other, able to develop an exit strategy when something fails? Lieutenant General Dhillon spoke about having a support system of your own. These people you have dinner with will build your support system, will raise your morale when you are down. Having that exit strategy when plan A fails, when plan B needs to be executed, you have to prepare yourself to execute that plan B. This is going to happen to most of you, not all of your batchmates are going to be placed in the same industries. You are going to be migrating to different industries based on your interests, based on your skills, based on different things. So can you have an exit strategy if your plans does not execute as you have planned it? Plan that exit strategy. What happens if things go off the rail? What is your alternative? What is your standby? Do not shatter, do not fall down. Use your support system to raise up your morale and then execute that exit strategy or the alternative plan B that you have. So 5 things I mentioned. Can anybody recapitulate for me? What was step number 1? How do you become industry ready? What was the first thing? The first thing was to have or be more acquainted with interdisciplinary topics. What was the second thing? Collaborate. Collaborate for projects. Collaborate for competitions. Collaborate for event managements. Events like this, events like conferences, events like volunteering for paper publications, volunteering for editorialships of journals. The third thing was being digital. How can you be digital? Digitalize India, digitalize education system. Maybe you don't know how the marriage of 2 computational platforms takes place together for a particular sort of application. You can use ChatGPT in this era, which was not available during our times. Explore that, but while having that in mind, also believe that ChatGPT cannot give you answers for everything. So use GenAI responsibly. Use generative AI responsibly. The fourth thing that I mentioned was communication. Communicate with your peers right now how you are doing. Fifth thing I mentioned was, who can say what was the fifth thing I mentioned? Have an exit strategy, right? So plan an exit strategy. If things does not go according to your plan, what is your exit strategy? If you have a family emergency, maybe right before the day of your exams, and if your exams does not go as per your plan, what is your exit strategy? How do you go beyond that scope? This is your college life. This 4 years you are there to enjoy. You would have different opportunities to rise above and beyond different sort of failures in different stages. But prepare yourself for the external world. Once you graduate beyond your college, how do you prepare yourself for that? That makes you industry ready. That makes you ready for the external world. With that, I would thank everyone who is listening today. Thank you, everyone. I would hand over the stage to the volunteers here. Thank you so much.